What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. You don't want justice. You come in on the day my daughter's to be married, and you didn't even want my friendship. You say, Don Corleone, bring me justice. You're afraid to be in debt with me. I understand. I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse. But let's be frank here. So, in case you guys didn't get the reference, that was Marlon Brando, rest in peace, in The Godfather. And the reason I'm making this video is because of Al Haymon. Al Haymon is currently fucking taking over boxing. And I just want to explore that Al Haymon and his recent signings and kind of let you know what that means in the scope of boxing. So, as you guys know, Al Haymon is a boxing advisor. And he's really behind the scenes. In fact, this graphic that I made, this might be the first time you're even seeing what he looks like because he kind of is behind closed doors, but he's very important to the sport of boxing. Now, the pro is for these fighters who are looking to get more recognition, obviously joining his conglomerate and being signed to Al Haymon is big business. And in boxing, that could get the fighters far. The downside, I guess you could say, would be boxing is such a business that is becoming monopolized. And the more fighters that Al Haymon accrues, the more power he has in the sport of boxing, which further fuels things like, oh, I don't know, the fucking Cold War. So we have networks beefing HBO Showtime. You got promoters beefing Golden Boy, Top Rank. And now you got a guy like Al Haymon who represents the biggest, highest paid, highest grossing athlete in the game, Floyd Mayweather Jr., as well as a ton of other talent. So what this means is boxing just becomes more, I guess, a sport of favoritism and politics. And, you know what I mean? Obviously, if Al Haymon is close to Mayweather, he's been there for the rise of Mayweather, who's still undefeated, and things like that. And if it's like kind of guilty by association, if you will, kind of like gangs. If I'm not a blood, but all my friends are bloods, then I'm kind of like an honorary blood. Meaning, if there's beef with the Crips, what do you think they're going to expect me to do? Oh, I'm just neutral. I don't have any problems with Crips or Bloods. You know what I mean? Fuck that. They're going to assume you're like guilty by association. You know what I mean? Especially if an opposing gang like a Crip member comes and sees you and you're known for hanging out with the Bloods. You know what I mean? They're going to pop you just like they would pop an actual blood. And again, that's fueling some of this boxing bullshit and politics that we hate so much, meaning we might not necessarily ever see Abner Mares versus Nonito Donaire based on the Golden Boy Top Rank relationship, or even a Yuriorkis Gamboa versus Mikey Garcia, even though Yuriorkis is with 50 Cent. It just helps perpetuate all things related to boxing, politics, and bullshit. 50 Cent and Floyd Mayweather had a falling out. So now what if a Golden Boy fighter wants to fight one of 50 Cent's fighters? Will that fight happen? You know what I mean? And it's hard enough. We haven't been able to see Mayweather Pacquiao. Now it's like this is the latest trend. And again, the more fighters that are under the Al Haymon banner, the downside is it makes him more powerful. And pretty much what he says goes. That's why you'll see people like Leo Santa Cruz, who is an Al Haymon fighter, and Spanish is his first language, and his English is it's decent, but it's kind of broken. You know what I mean? It's not, you can tell it's not his first language, but he knows to thank Al Haymon. You know what I mean? Because Al Haymon gave him some look. I just want to thank my manager, Al Haymon. You know what I mean? He makes sure that every fighter at the end of their fights, they make sure they give Al Haymon, aka the Godfather, his just due, because he does a lot for them, and behind closed doors he's the man and giving them looks. So let me just run down the list. The amount of fighters he has is ridiculous, especially now. It's like some people just sign because it's the thing to do, kind of like Manny Pacquiao and Freddie Roach had their chemistry kicking off and started getting a lot of exposure. Now all of a sudden a bunch of people wanted to train with Freddie Roach. You know what I mean? Amir Khan at one point in time. Recently Glenn Tapia, Miguel Cotto, and you know what I mean, just a slew of different people have went, and it kind of becomes like a groupie event, and boxers kind of go with what's hot, and Al Heyman is hot, so everybody's fucking signing him. They, you know what I mean, signing with him. I don't know, man. I don't know. He gets some good looks. I just don't like how boxing is becoming such a business to the point where now they can really power play us as fans because everybody's on one side, you know what I'm saying? And we just have to succumb and give into it. It's like they're trying to become such a conglomerate and take over. And I mean, it's cool. You have all these fighters, but there are some fighters on Top Rank or K2 promotions or, you know what I mean, SMS promotions or whatever. Like, I would love to see James Kirkland and Canelo. But with all things considered, is this fight a reality? At one point, they were both Golden Boy fighters, Canelo and Kirkland. That's no longer the case. Plus, I know Kirkland had some bad blood with Golden Boy at a point in time. Plus, Al Heyman, his biggest client is obviously Floyd Mayweather. So, that being said, since Floyd Mayweather doesn't really fuck with 50 Cent anymore, will that fight happen? Can it happen? Will these two entities or three entities all sit around a table and do what's right for the sport and the business and make Canelo and Kirkland or whatever fight that we're discussing? So there's good and bad, and that's the good and bad. But let me go through the list of Al Heyman fighters, and these are some of the people he represents: Chris Arreola, Deontay Wilder, Seth Mitchell, Antonio Tarver, Adonis Stevenson, Chad Dawson. You have Edwin Rodriguez, Sakio Bika, Anthony Durrell, Peter Quillen, Daniel Jacobs, Jermaine Taylor, J. Leon Love, Austin Trout, the Charlo brothers, Edislani Laura, Demetrius Andrade, Fernando Guerrero, Floyd Mayweather, Devin Alexander, Keith Thurman, Marcus Maidana, Sean Porter, Paulie Malignaggi, Andre Berto, Luis Collazo, Victor Ortiz, Earl Spence Jr., Amir Khan, and Robert Guerrero. Amir Khan, I think his signing is actually official, and Robert Guerrero is looking to sign with him, most likely, but he was trying to get out of his contract, so I don't know with the litigation and all that. But anyway, continuing down the list: Danny Garcia, Lucas Matisse, Lamont Peterson, Josito Lopez, Anthony Peterson, John Molina, Omar Figueroa, and Gary Russell Jr., Leo Santa Cruz. I mean, this is like fucking movie credits. You can read, you know what I mean? These can be scrolling movie credits. He has everybody. Most recently, John Molina, Amir Khan, Robert Guerrero, if those two go through, Luis Collazo, and Adonis Stevenson were the ones that recently, like as in 2014, signed with Al Heyman. So let me know what you guys think. What does this mean for the sport of boxing? Is this good or bad that Al Heyman has this much control? The other thing that a lot of people complain about is with that power also could potentially cause corruption. So if you're an Al Heyman fighter, are you going to be protected? And it's funny that Paulie Malignaggi was kind of giving Broner slack for being an Al Heyman fighter, and he recently also signed to Al Heyman, as I mentioned. So he joined, you know what I mean? It's like people are like just joining the cult. It's like everyone's drinking the fucking Kool-Aid. And like I said, I understand they have livelihoods and house note, your mortgages and all that to maintain. So you got to do what's right for your career and what's going to get you the most looks and most money. But again, the downside could be corruption, you know what I mean? Or even padded records, you know what I mean? If you're signed to the biggest advisor in a powerful person, like who knows what kind of strings he could pull if a fight is potentially fixed, or you know what I mean, to keep a fighter winning. Like, is that going to sway the judges based on being an Al Heyman fighter because they know how powerful this dude is, that he's the fucking boxing godfather? Also, padded records. Will you put him against scrubs and bums and not necessarily the rightful fights and the rightful challenges based on trying to keep your fighters safe? Like, let's say Adrian Broner. A lot of people think he was spoon-fed, and there's a slew of other people. So let me know what you think this does for the sport of boxing. All these fucking people signing to Al Heyman or being Al Heyman fighters. Leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think. The godfather of boxing, Al fucking Heyman. Let me know. As always, hate, comment, or subscribe. Till next videos, Ego. Signing off.